Hello everyone, my name is Jammer. I am starting a flight sim YouTube channel. I have built my own DIY sim. I will throw some pictures up of it. I've always wanted to fly in real life, and just over time didn't think I could do it, or thought the testing was too hard. So I decided to look at simulating flying, and I was able to pick up a good deal on a alpha flight yoke from Honeycomb, and then got X-Plane 11 and kind of went crazy from there. With X-Plane 11 you can use a program called SimVim. It is a free program, and that program, it allows you to build dashboards and switches and all kinds of different buttons to use with the planes. When Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 came out, I realized that SimVim was only for X-Plane, and therefore I had to find something else. The program I found for that actually works for both is called MobiFlight, and you have to use another program with it, FSUIPC7, and that one did cost money. I believe it was $30 US dollars, and it just works. If you watch the altimeter gauge here, if I turn it in my cockpit, in theory it turns well, of course, now that I'm recording the video, it doesn't want to work. Let me close it out and restart it. Anyway, I thought I'd make a quick short video. My alpha flight yoke had some issues, and I needed to send it back to Honeycomb. The cord that goes from the yoke to the body actually malfunctioned. It happened before, and they're willing to take care of it. So I have a SciTech yoke running right now, and I just did the SciTech mod where you take the super heavy springs out of it, and actually let's turn this back on, and you use rubber bands, and this is the first time I've really been turning it, and it is way more sensitive, so I'll have to work on that, but it just works now. Before it used to catch, and I used to really have to push to make it work. I tend to fly with it off because you have to be able to reach these buttons. Anyway, if you haven't seen Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020, this is it. The graphics are just amazing. And let's see, it looked like my switches were starting to work, so does it work now? It's not wanting to work. I'm not exactly sure why. There we go. The program. I tried to download the drivers for the SciTech flight yoke, and it tried to restart my computer, and I didn't want that, so it shut down most of the programs, and that is what happened right then. It shut that program down, but I caught it before it shut down the whole system. Now that it's working, if you watch these buttons right here, I don't know if my mouse is recording on the screen or not, but when I flip the switches in my home cockpit, they work. I have built a full throttle quadrant. I will show some pictures of that, but it does the job. It's nothing fancy. I actually built it out of automotive choke handles that you would put in the old 60s, 70s, 80s vehicles that didn't have electronic chokes. And I was just sitting around, I'm like, you know, those will work really well. They come with all the brackets. You have a 3D printer, you can reprint the knobs, and it would look just like in the plane. I'll throw a picture up, and actually I just secured a Cessna 150 fuselage. Somebody was using it for a flight sim, and they got out of it. They sold all the electronics out of it, so it's just the bare shell. And I will be bringing that home on Friday, and we will document it together, and I am going to make everything in there as original to the plane as far as when you're looking at it. You know, hopefully all the gauges look correct, and we're gonna learn how to build a radio panel and GPS panels, and which is a big undertaking, but that's what we're gonna shoot for trying to do. I have not yet really learned to talk to ATC, so on this little flight here, I'm just going to do a quick flight. I'm not very good at it yet, and we'll just kind of learn that part together. We are sitting at 4S9, which is Malino, Oregon, and I've recently been there, and I can verify that for the most part, the buildings aren't 100% exact, but when you come to this airport, this is the drone part of Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's really cool. But when you come to this airport, in real life, you actually come down that road by that house, and you turn and come in to the airport. And these hangars are here, and the buildings are here. The runway looks like this. They've done a really, really good job with this. Anyway, to access the drone camera, you would hit Insert on your keyboard, and make sure that you hit Insert to get back out of it. If you hit the number 5 on the number keypad, that drone will come flying back to your plane and somehow hit your plane, and then it crashes the plane. It ruins your landing gear. Go ahead and turn on my lights here so we can actually kind of see this. That's radio lighting. There we go. Get a little gauge lighting going on, so when it's up there, that's what you'll be seeing. I have a GoPro. I am going to learn how to connect it into my sim so I can do some videos on flying and learning together. And eventually we will get into talking to ATC, and then we will also, once I am taking this simulator apart and putting it on into the actual plane, we'll be down for a while, so that will be the videos for then. So I'll probably be a little quiet. I'm still new at doing videos, but let's see if we can do this. They sometimes put the pushback trucks and the gas trucks right in front of you, and there's nothing you can do. And sometimes they also put you right in front of the gas pumps, and the only thing you can do is drive through them. You can drive through those, but if you hit a tree or a building, you crash. So normally when you are taxiing like this, you would call up to ATC, and which this is an uncontrolled airport, but if you when you contact ATC here, you would be talking to Aurora, which is KUAO, sorry. And or you would, because it's uncontrolled, you would key up and say malign on traffic. And you would definitely want to do that before we get out onto the runway. Go this way up. Go this way here. You definitely want to look both ways. A lot of people don't fly into this airport. It's really small. But to practice flight patterns, pattern entries, landings, stop and goes, for me it's better to do. I've been learning on these uncontrolled airports, and this one's close to my hometown. So one thing to keep in mind is you want to try to keep it around 20 knots when you're taxiing. Do this, and you also want to keep the center of your plane right on that line to the best of your ability. Apologize for that. Moving the GPS to my screen so I can actually see. And that is one of the bugs that I hope they fix soon, is if you move your mouse away from the screen, your plane will stop responding. Everything does whatever it wants until your mouse comes back and you click on it. Of course, this flight simulator was built for the actual Xbox, but they also do it with this as well. I am on a Windows 10 PC. I ended up with the Aurora R9 due to another brand that I had that just kept crashing. It was brand new, I had it for a couple weeks, and I just could not keep it running. So this is the next one that was in stock, and you know what? It works amazing. I have lots of windows open. My simulator is right now a 42-inch screen in the front and two 32-inch screens on the side, plus my GPS unit. So if I am remembering correctly, right here you would want to announce that we are about to taxi. And so that yellow line that you see right there is called the hold short line. You don't cross that line unless if you're at a towered airport, you do not cross it unless the tower tells you. Since we're on an uncontrolled airport, there's not a tower, we have to use our judgment and make sure nobody's coming. You want to make sure you're fully set up before you get out onto the runway. That way, if somebody is coming in, you can just go. So, if I remember correctly, you will say Milano traffic, Skyhawk 1767 Bravo, ready to take off, runway 32, staying in a left pattern, 67 Bravo. Come out, just people to double check. Well, it doesn't really. I still got to work on getting the view set up. I'm procrastinating a little bit because I'm putting it all into an airplane, and also I'm hoping they come out with multi-monitor support, which then would take care of that as well. $3 in rubber bands and 15 minutes to do it. Holy cow. It is definitely not like the honeycomb, but it makes a huge difference. I ended up not being able to do the game settings and calibrate it. It would not come up. I don't want to restart my computer to load up the program, but even without that, it just works. It's great. That is my hands off of the controls, and it wouldn't do that before. And I can make really nice changes here. I do apologize right now for my landing. I'm still learning, but hopefully we can do this. Now, when in a traffic pattern, you're supposed to stay around 90 knots, and you want to stay at your altimeter. You want to stay at 1,000 feet above the level of the airport. Obviously, I went above that. Some of my gauges in my cockpit aren't working, and I wasn't looking at the dash, so I was not expecting that yet. Anyway, shut it down like that. That noise you're hearing is my flaps. I'm dropping my flaps. Still going a little fast. You want to be somewhere about the 60 knot range. Yeah, there we go. It's definitely, if you can't afford to get your pilot's license, because it's super expensive, this is definitely a good way to go. It's fun. You end up spending way too much time on it. if I can do it without crashing, huh? You'd normally aim right for those numbers, and I would have already wanted. Man, yeah, we're gonna land way too long. But look at that, we didn't die. The plane is still usable. So, well, that is pretty successful. I do hope to get to the point where it's just all second nature, and you know, it's just really easy to to land and pull over here. And we'll just park here for a second. Well, thank you everybody for watching this video. Please come back and check often, as I will be updating the flight simulator build, and I'm super excited to do this. It'll be like a dream come true, and I'll be glad to share it with you all. Have a good night. Fly safe.